You know what we're about to do? We're about to vibe.
Can't skip that intro this time, man. You did an intro last time. Like 30, 40 minutes into the show.
True.
New Pharrell. Hey. You ain't hear this yet?
I hear the shit.
He was that scared what I was gonna play.
You wanted to surprise me. I'm like, wait a minute. Nah. What we playing? I trust you. Oh, speaking of, wait, this Pharrell, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of Pharrell,
What's up with Pharrell?
Boyz II Men came out with,
Right.
with a song, and I want to talk about that in a minute.
Boyz II Men? Shout out to Boyz II Men, man.
Shout out to Boyz II Men, shout out to Pharrell.
And it's funny, they just mentioned that they didn't do the versus battle because they was working on a new project.
Who was they doing versus battle with or against?
They didn't really mention it yet.
Who you think would be a good group for them to go up against?
Boyz II Men. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's not a good, I really couldn't promote. It would have to be another group, but what other group could go up with Boyz II Men? That's kind of crazy. That's like, I don't know.
I mean, what you think about this song?
You gotta see you know what you gotta see? You gotta see the video to understand it. For sure.
I mean, I'm sure that's how. I mean, some songs you gotta see to fall in love with the song.
But this one you don't. You could just listen to the song, but you gotta listen to the whole thing. I just forwarded it. Just you know. Gotta pause it because they definitely gonna try to strike us, man. Cause you know, shout out to Pharrell, but he's a pop star.
Lies told to you through YouTubes and Hulus. Shows with no views that look like you do. Like Twitter was stacked with jackets paid. Do you? One Gucci support two Fubu's. Sipping.
All right.
That is what I want to hear.
Okay. So,
wait.
he said for, you know,
Jay-Z?
Yeah, Jay-Z.
Shout out to Jay-Z.
He's spitting bars there. He's over here talking about some real conscious stuff right now. But basically, for whatever, you know, foreign culture you're supporting, name brand, you can support to Fubu's.
For us, by us, in case nobody knows what FUBU means.
Yeah, it's a black-owned company. We all stunt and we talk about Gucci this or Fendi that, but we don't represent
Alexander Wayne.
Yeah, we don't represent our own culture.
Our own brands.
And then the one dude that was coming up, you know, he's wilding out here. But for sure, like, I think we're catching a rift on supporting black businesses. I think that's becoming a cool thing.
All vertically integrated from the flow up. You say power, sip ace till I throw up. Like gang signs, sip I bang mines for both ya. Serial entrepreneur, we on our own. Stop sitting around waiting for folks to throw you a bone.
Well, that line, I understand the line, but yes, I definitely agree with that. I've said that a lot. You know,
You said that on the show.
Yeah, I've said that a lot. Waiting, which is why the reason why I do what I do. Not waiting for necessarily for somebody to give me something, but waiting to work with other people that are not willing to do their part. So, and at the same time, you know, you got to recondition the way your mindset is. Clearly, people are, you know, afraid by design, but now you just got to say, you know what? So what? Things may not go exactly according to plan. Let me be adventurous. There's all perspective and how you look at it. So, you know, basically it's almost like, for me, the message I got out of what Jay-Z said is tough love. Like, just knock it off, shake it off, move forward. So
I mean, I'm excited to hear Jay-Z album. You know, of course it's gonna be controversial, his releasing the song.
If you can't buy the building, at least stock the shelf. Then keep on stacking till you stock it for yourself. See everything you place after black.
Whoa.
It's too small a term to completely describe the act. Black nation, black builder, black entrepreneur. You who the best black excellence, never
Gotta pause it, but he's going off.
what he's saying, break it down, break it down.
I mean, you know, talking about black excellence. It is no shame in championing black businesses and supporting your fellow black man.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment.
I mean, I guess Jay-Z's been waiting, right? Because he hasn't said anything publicly about the situation. I know he got scrutinized for the whole NFL situation, and I know that there's people out there recently that are talking about his character, and you know, I think that I'm not defending Jay-Z in no aspect of the word, but I feel that there's certain parts of us that are good and certain parts of us that aren't so good. So you might catch a little bad from everybody. I would just say it like that. Don't be so quick to just judge based on something you heard. You know, we all feel different feelings at different times in our life, or different stages in our life.
Facts. Yeah, I agree. So, for those who don't know,
for those who you said don't know,
yeah, Fabio, shout out to Fabio, the rapper.
yeah,
He's upcoming rapper from Brooklyn. Recently just survived the shooting.
Okay.
In Atlanta, I think.
Okay.
Shout out to him and his family.
Right.
You know, get well soon. But that aside,
Yeah.
it came out that he's 30 years old. So it showed the fact that kids will rock with you until they find out you're older, and that's weird, right? You don't think that's weird?
Well, yeah. Again, it's all about mindset.
Right.
It's always going to be about what's in, how whatever group you're around. You know, sometimes if you're around somebody and they don't know the age of you, it could be a girlfriend or a boyfriend,
Right.
And people will be a certain way with you until you say, oh, my girl's 5 years younger than me, or my girl is 5 years older than me. People will tend to actually look at you different.
Right.
Sometimes they'll even say to you, I didn't know that. Why you never told me that? You know what I mean? Like you lied to me? Like, why?
Right.
Or like, I don't know, you be talking to somebody a couple of years past, you be like, oh, you know, my girl's kid. What? You wait, kid? Right. So as you were saying,
So because it came out that he was 30, people trying to make jokes about it. But now those same people that was making the memes,
yeah,
they getting made fun of too, because it's like something will be fire, like the music will be good, but you guys are purposely not rocking with it because of someone's age or somebody's specific way of life or whatever. But
well, that's what I'm saying. Like that whole peer pressure, that culture, that particular culture, like the rap culture.
which is the only culture that does that.
Only culture in the world that I know of that does that. You have like merengue, bachata, salsa. You know, you have all these cultures that listen to classic music since the day they were born, and these are like songs that are like 40 plus years old.
Exactly.
Way older than them. They could be 13 years old, and those songs will come on, and it's just like the best memories, the best song, the best music.
Right.
Rap culture
is better with age too.
Yeah, but like the rap culture always wants to it's like the individual always want to outshine the person next to them.
Right.
You know, always want to like they feel like it's their time to shine amongst like just them. You know, not as a group, not as a group of people or just being together, just that unity. You know what I mean? And that's what separates. That's what, you know, divides, and that's why it's easy to conquer, because there's no like
there's no one at the forefront, man. They just, and I think that's what we get annoyed with what we call old heads, are trying to keep the gate of who we allow in and out. But that's impossible.
But I mean, and respectfully, even like the whole term of old heads is so offensive.
Right.
It's a part of the same exact thing.
Well, I mean, it's funny. Lil Uzi Vert,
Yeah,
when he was 23, he called somebody old that was 27. They can't talk, but now he's 27. So Uzi Vert. But he's saying people like, now are you an old head? You know what I mean? Like, it's funny how time just goes like that, and they still pushing their own music, and it's still speaking on music.
But it's depending on the culture or depending on the individual. 27 is not old.
I mean, most of these rappers now are that were saying that at the time are past that.
Right.
Even Lil Yachty's getting older. Like certain rappers, they get into that age. So,
I mean, but you still have those Jay-Z's, and you still have those rappers that are very relevant, very, ahead of the flow or ahead of the trend.
Well, I'm just waiting for the time to be a new forum,
right,
or a new space for older rappers to thrive within their own lane. Not try to chase that young dude bag. You know what I mean? Not try to sound like everybody new, but still try to make a new sound. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I totally agree with you. I believe that's why a lot of great rappers don't change or don't evolve. I would say because they're afraid that people in their generation,
right?
Just like they did with Kanye West. I miss the old Kanye.
Right. Yeah.
That's why rappers before him and rappers after him would never change, because they don't want to hear that from somebody. They're so afraid, which is why I highly respect Drake. I highly respect Drake for being courageous and daring and brave to say, you know what, I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. I'm just gonna do it. And I also highly respect Kanye West. He's done it too.
Right, for sure.
So people gonna talk. People gonna say whatever they're gonna say. And yes, you're gonna lose certain fans or whatever the case is.
Right.
That's gonna happen because this is the mentality that certain people have.
Facts.
Majority of people around the world, you won't even see the difference in numbers, because those people don't usually pay for music. Just gotta throw that out there.
Shout out to Fabio. The song's called 13 Going on 30. Funny dude.
Them niggas came up on me. Should've never gave up on me. I need to admit it, homie. And rewarded everybody.
I want to know certain people that was rocking with him before that I know.
Yeah.
Still rocking his music.
I'm about to switch. I'm about to switch back. Like it's a bitch, yeah. I get this bitch, man. Look, give me a break, Kit Kat. I know she want me to hit that, but I'm focused on a big bag. I just fuck when I get back. Now I'm making bigger moves.
I just wonder if that actually affects his music or his creativity.
I mean, still sounds like his usual work. I think this one actually sounds a little more polished, to be honest. But I could attribute that to him just getting better as an artist. I think he's getting more polished as an artist. It's coming easier to him. The production's the same, that Brooklyn trap, drill music.
Them niggas pitiful. Yes, switch up on me for an interview. Yeah. Let's switch up on me for island front.
Alright, Brain's doing the music, so I'm trusting he got this.
Yeah, for sure. But I actually wanted to touch more upon Jay-Z putting out that song. Well, which wasn't even Jay-Z, it was more Nas putting out the song. I mean Nas, Pharrell putting out the song. But people keep mentioning how, for whatever reason, every time Nas comes out with a project, Jay-Z has a project too coming out.
Well, doesn't is Nas still under Jay-Z's label?
I don't know. But they said this the last time when Nas dropped his project. The Carters dropped theirs. The Carters, Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Right.
And they mentioned it, and I'm like, it's just coincidence because it happened a couple times before.
Yeah.
But like Jay-Z really hates Nas. But then this time, when Nas dropped that song we were talking about last week, they dropped this Jay-Z verse. But I don't think it's Jay-Z's song that be dropping. So it's just like, but it is weird though. It is kind of like.
I mean, it's possible that he could be waiting and. I mean, just to stay, not necessarily to stay relevant, but just to be like, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here.
Right.
I mean, you know, these guys are legends in rap music.
Right.
I appreciate hearing both of them.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure Jay-Z feels the same and Nas feels the same in certain aspects. You know, they're part of each other's legacy.
I mean, either way, I don't think Jay-Z takes away from Nas regardless. I think whoever likes Nas likes Nas. And they're not gonna stop listening to Nas project because of Jay-Z. This is me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, diehard fans are diehard fans regardless.
Yeah, let's get started.
All right, so here we go. Good morning. I'm David, and this is David Talks.
And I'm Rain, back on David Talks.
All right, so yeah, this type of award is going to go out to that officer in Georgia. Apparently, I'm just gonna say alleged, right? I'm gonna say alleged, even though it's all over TikTok. Where this officer handcuffed a woman. She so happens to be black. For all argument's sake, we're just gonna use that term. He also used a stun gun on her
while she was handcuffed.
Well, that's the alleged story.
Oh no!
So. No, wait, whoa. Let me.
So,
first of all, when I first heard the story, that seemed to have been the story. When I seen the footage, she was saying that the wire's in her and she can't turn over. So, hold on.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean he didn't tase her. She wasn't fully handcuffed.
Right.
But it showed that she had a handcuff on.
Yeah.
One. But the second one wasn't.
Yeah.
And she said I still had the wire. I'm going to assume that she might have been
tased
before that, and she might have had at least one cuff on.
Okay, I think I know what happened.
What you think happened?
I think he was cuffing her, and then he probably lost control of her and then stunned her. And she probably ran.
I was thinking that, and I just don't want to speculate, but the way the story was promoted, I would say, it was like she was and in the news she was tased after she was handcuffed. But on the TikTok video, I didn't see all of that. So
TikTok bringing in
all
news,
of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the officer was actually fired. I'm a little surprised about that.
He was fired?
He was fired. It's a little weird. It's a little weird because it's unusual for an officer to be fired because they do so many.
You said in Georgia?
In Georgia.
Yeah, that's
a little strange.
Shout out to the higher powers in his precinct, man.
Yeah, shout out to them. And I heard the girl saying she couldn't turn over because something was in her. I'm assuming the wire from the taser, and he was still trying to get her to turn over. She was stuck between the bushes.
Oh no!
It was just like, and then like a lot of phones was recording. So maybe I didn't see the phone that did record the whole entire incident, but I was trying to research it. I wanted to get the story right. So I would just say, everybody out there, research. And you know what? I believe there's going to be some people that say, oh, well, that's no reason to fire a police officer, except if it happened to them or happened to one of their loved ones. I think when people are in these situations, whether they're white or black, until they're in that situation, and some people say, well, I wouldn't resist arrest. So it's just, you know what I mean?
And people would be surprised what resisting arrest is.
Exactly, because she was saying, I'm not resisting arrest, I can't turn over.
Exactly. And
she was yelling, so she appeared to be irate, but she wasn't like, she didn't punch him, she didn't hit him.
Man.
She just was like trying to like...
She should be able to be irate. And I see these people always say, oh, stay calm and this, that, and the other. But if you see a lot of these other videos, and it happens to be white people go crazy on police officers after like doing the craziest crimes, that's their right to act that crazy.
Well, the thing is that people are so fast to say, if a police officer asks you a question, just comply. Okay, comply. You only can move on your instincts, right? What about the officer, the officer that they recently was found guilty because of DNA proof? The guy's like, I don't know if he's in his 80s or 70s. I think he's in the 70s. He's a police officer. He's a Caucasian, white police officer. And he killed, I think they proved, he confessed to so many murders and rapes. But, and this just recently happened. But because of the laws, statutory laws, they can only charge him with 15 murders. But he actually confessed to like 30 or something murders or something.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And he's finally convicted with life term. They could have given him the death penalty, but apparently the judge felt that because of his age, that the rest of his life should be a fit-in sentence. Which I'm not saying I disagree with it, but I'm just saying, okay.
He's a white cop.
He was a white cop, and he was elusive, and he used to do all these different things. One of the victims testified saying that he ruined her life. Crazy. And that scarred, that kind of scar, and it makes you wonder. But like, you don't know which cop is good. You don't know which cop is bad. You don't know. You're just, your hands are in their hands.
Exactly.
And that's not comfortable.
Your life is in their hands.
Exactly. That's just not a comfortable feeling, to just give over your power to another person that you don't know their true intentions. You don't know if they mean you harm.
Crazy.
You don't know if they like you or dislike you. It's really difficult. And I believe that what the cop should have did, he was by himself.
Just call for backup. He
should have called for backup way before he decided to arrest.
Yeah. I thought that was protocol anyway.
And another part of the story is he was just like saying you could be arrested if you don't comply, kind of thing, and that's always the threat. And I wonder if his ego got involved, where he was like, well, I told her, now she has to, let me react to this now, because if I don't later on, maybe her or anybody else would think they could just talk any old kind of way to police officers. And I just want to say that whole making an example of scaring people or locking people up in jail, that whole, like this whole 3 strikes you're outlaws and all this, they figure if they was to scare enough people that it would work. But
right,
400 years of slavery, people still try to escape. It's not a proven fact. In fact, I would say it definitely doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work for sure. I mean, it's the same thing with torture, and they say that torture doesn't work either. It's been in practice for a millennia, right? A couple of millennia. And they say that they finally realized that torturing doesn't necessarily get the truth out of people. So,
I mean, people forget things. People don't know. People don't care. People are traumatized. There's so many things that happen. I just want to say to that police officer, you get 5 diapers, and I'm not really gonna have sympathy simply because of his age. He actually had a family after that, after those after those murders. He's lived his life.
Wait, which one gets the 5 diapers?
Yeah, which
the Georgia dude or the serial killer?
Oh man, both of them get the diaper. Actually,
5 diapers.
5 diapers to the police officer that just recently got fired.
Yeah, 3 diapers for me, for him, but
5. What?
You know what?
Fine. I get it. You're right. Measuring, I would give him 3 diapers. And the police officer that recently got life in prison, I'm gonna give him 5 diapers. You're right about that.
All right. So this is the sad part about it.
Yeah.
And then you spoke about the fear mongering, right? Because that's what it is.
Right.
For example, Tennessee, right? And this is a story that you guys should look up. And you should look up as well.
Yes.
They just passed a law, right? And this is scary right here. That if you're arrested for protesting, that one of the penalties for that is revoking your right to vote.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the type of stuff that's going on now. So yeah, fear.
Wow.
And who you think's protesting, man? You know what I'm saying? So, we have to get more information.
The people that actually would care the most about voting would be the protesters that can make a change, and they don't take that power away. That's absurd, by the way.
Yeah, so it's kind of disgusting.
So that law went through. That's something they're trying to make.
No. It went through, but I guess they're trying to finagle a way to just target that specific wording.
Wow.
Which we all know that.
And they think that's gonna work. That people won't protest. This is the problem. That whole fear thing. It just doesn't work out.
Yeah, it doesn't work out. It might seem like a quick fix, but these are the things that happen. That happens all the time, and I think that. This is gonna bring more alert, more consciousness to people that understand they need to vote every term for everything, and who they put into office for legislation and sit in for stuff like that, because they allowed these people to get into office that implemented these kind of laws. You know what I mean? And everyone's always worried about the big election every 4 years, but they're not worried about even just their neighborhood, representatives. It's just kind of crazy that this was ever passed in Tennessee. I ain't surprised. But
I wonder if they're allowing these so-called politicians, whether they're Congress people or borough presidents or whatever the case is, them not being out of touch with what people really need, and they trying to come up with solutions. They just let them do these things to their own people or not. I also wonder, if people feel this is a way to save America from protesting and not letting the rest of the world see, America for who they are, and not only in America, but these protestings are going on all over the world to this day. There's protesting in all countries right now.
Right.
And they figured we gonna have to figure out a way to arrest them, who they think that's in their eyes causing the most problems or issues or the most attention.
Right. I mean, the problem with these things are, so what they're gonna use, the way they're trying to do it is, if you don't have a permit to sit in these places that they're protesting. Yeah. Which we all know about these things that they put to try to prevent protesting. But if you don't get a permit, then you're there illegally. So,
interesting how that works.
So even if you so of course you're gonna have the people that go, well, get the permit. But even if you do that, it's always a loop around that they're gonna try to find. They're trying to use it for, okay, you were protesting, but no one said you could occupy this for a specific amount of time.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you get a permit, your permit expires, so it's not.
It expires. It takes long to get implemented. It's not. You can't do it every day.
Well, I wonder if they're gonna
trying to slow it down.
I believe they have the patience to organize this whatever necessary adjustments. I believe they will make.
Well, you know how they're gonna do it. Well,
once they get really organized, they're gonna overturn those type of laws.
Yeah, and I think they're using the COVID situation to try to use, crowd control. You get a permit, they say, yeah, you can only have 15 people within this amount of space. So they violate that, then they violate the permit, and it's just, how that is, man. So I'm interested to see what happens in Tennessee moving forward. If that specific law is going to get, thrown out somehow, or it's going to get revoked or whatever. I don't know how that works. But definitely look it up, because it is important. That's very important.
Wow, that's very
that doesn't spread to different states, because that's insanity, man.
Well, did you know that NASA's, they said, well, it worked out for us, I guess, in a sense, right? But NASA said it was an asteroid heading towards us, and it would be 0.002 kilometers, or about 6 feet. It would be passing the Earth.
The Earth's,
I guess, the
gravitational pull?
Exactly. Which is what, and before you tell me what that means, I would say, and it's funny because we were just talking about how I saw a shooting star, and from my understanding, what a shooting star is a rock.
It's a meteorite.
A meteorite that if it hits the ground, it's now a meteor. How does that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And-
it burns in the atmosphere.
Right, and you have different types like gas and ice
Right.
and rock.
Which all burn differently. So sometimes you'll see a shooting star look a certain way, and then another time you see it look differently, depending on the density of ice or gas or rock. You're like, that's not a shooting star. That's something else. That's a spaceship. But you know, it could be. But you know, it's usually just different types of you know.
So what does that mean?
Meteorites.
What does that mean? And also, I want to say, they was also saying that the density of the planet is increasing, and they were saying that would affect the satellites. What does that mean in regards to like 6.5 feet?
Yeah,
to
that's
atmosphere?
too close to comfort, man. But I will say this, right? None of this will matter if somehow that the trajectory of that goes to Earth, because we will all die. Just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah.
How big would you say, based on your studies, asteroid or
How big does it have to be to destroy us all?
yeah?
Like a football field. It won't kill us all right away, but what'll happen is it'll hit the ground, and all
Right.
the dust from whatever impact it makes,
Yeah.
you know, it'll go around the Earth and cause global warming to an extensive rate. It'll just
So would it get hotter or colder?
it will get extremely cold because the sun won't be able to penetrate.
Got
So we'll all freeze to death.
it.
Protesters
Not that it's
and
funny,
on
but-
both sides.
But it's just funny how
If we don't get vaporized within, you know, the first impact. But
I wonder, my thing is,
I could be wrong. I'm ballparking, man.
you ballparking?
Yeah, but I'm confident for somebody to challenge me or something. But yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you're gonna get some people trying to
And I
discredit
would-
what you're saying. Huh?
No, yeah, I would appreciate it though. That's the thing.
Yeah, we definitely do like to have different discussions on all topics of what goes on in life, and we like to touch base on everything that's going on in the world, and that so happens to be going on outside of the world.
Yeah, but I
which
feel
is really important.
right, and I feel like every week we have a new asteroid by the smokers.
Well, yeah, I've noticed and I read about a lot of them, and I'm just saying to myself, wow, today one was supposed to come. In fact, the time was 2:59 p.m.
That's how it be, man.
So who knows? I'm just
Yeah.
happy to even be having this kind of conversation,
Right.
because who knows? We may not have been in a position to do so, right?
Absolutely. Also, the House passed a provision bill for the post office, and there is $25 billion in emergency post office funding. And the White House threatened to veto. So
Well,
it's like a war going on, man.
so wait, rumor has it that Trump was talking about getting rid of a bunch of mailboxes. Now, that could affect the whole voting system.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's for, because he doesn't believe in voting ballots
Right.
done by mail,
Right.
because he believes fraud could be committed.
Oh, really? That's astonishing to me.
Yeah.
Sarcastically speaking, I would say.
Yeah. So now there are other things and other ways you could actually register to vote, guys. There's so many different ways. Don't get distracted by a specific targeted thing, something that's being specifically targeted. It's just designed to make you focus on one thing and not really weigh your other options. The post office is actually very important for things well beyond this election. And if the post office falls apart, our entire infrastructure of economics will go crazy. And it's really crazy on how everyone thinks voting is the worst part of what will happen. But obviously the House understands that there's more important things than the specific election. It's just funny how certain parties would throw our economy out of whack just to win the election.
And speaking, speaking like we were saying before, having having our lives in somebody else's hand, plays hand in hand. No pun intended, right? I said this
Right,
last
for sure.
other day. but it's still about power struggles.
Right. Seems to be.
I'm gonna say allegedly, but I would say like somebody must have suggested that Trump gets ahead of the I would say the unemployment situation.
Right.
The reason why I say that is because he made an executive decision to give an extra $300 a week, and then
And who's this?
Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, I guess.
And then he said it was up to the states to approve it or not. And
But that's misleading.
Right. But then like now this is, I also want to say this. Matter of fact, tell me why you say that's misleading.
You know what? We really don't have time for it.
What's that?
To get into it.
What's that?
Get in the conversation of why it's misleading, but in a
Great scheme of things.
Yeah. In a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
The states have to vote on using their own money to provide these things, which they don't want to do because they're not getting any other bailouts. You know what I'm saying? So why would you put yourself in debt?
Well,
with yourself.
Well, and then it also brings me to this thing. Bill de Blasio, right?
Yeah.
The governor of New York, he said no. He said we can't afford that.
No, we can't.
But then he said yes.
Why?
That's the real question. Why, right? And I guess from August, I don't know how far they're willing to go back, but like I guess they've said August they will give back what they didn't give.
Right.
And that is the great question, right? That is the great question. Why? And
So
why I say no first? That's exactly
it's
what
a
I'm
game,
saying.
man. It's a game.
This
it's
is
just
what I mean.
buying time.
Because then you kind of feel like you have your life in somebody's hands. Where I was going with that again, and then it's up to them to decide. People's fate that need money, that need that money.
Yo, conservatives, I have a question for all you conservatives, and also, I just have a question. It seems to me that most conservatives have a problem with government help, but it seems that this new design is made so that we are dependent on these checks.
Right.
Certain jobs, especially not allowed to be open. There's certain social distancing stuff going on that's slowly being open, but it's put in a way that it's not guaranteeing your job, especially with the rollbacks on a lot of places closing again in a lot of different states, right? Because we're not New York centralized, right?
Right.
But New York is just going to be in the same trajectory as every other state, So, with that being said, I just feel like it's just buying time just to keep us, give us hope. Yeah, we better get more money. Yeah. Come on. And we're just like, we're cheering on the rabbit, to win the race.
I mean, because it should definitely, with all this talk, I mean, if someone, and don't get me wrong, because somebody may actually care, but they probably feel, and I'm not speaking for any particular politician, but they actually care, but they feel like they have to gain more support by playing that game.
Right.
By saying, we can't afford it, guys, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna do it anyway because I want to help you.
Right.
But like if the president signed an executive decision, which means now if you sign that, you have to find the money to help.
I don't know how powerful the executive decisions are by the president. We've just recently learned that can be stopped as well. So it's just a game of chess with them. We just right now we're reading back and forth. We're watching the ping pong.
Right.
We're not really paying attention to the news that actually matters. We gotta let go, let it go. Let's go, let it go.
I do gotta let's go, let it go. My let's go, let it go was Shit Boys to Men come back out with an album. That's kind of really what I was thinking. You think?
Yeah, let's go. Hell yeah. Boys
Okay.
to Men.
Let's say let's
I
go.
mean, I got my moments where I listen to R&B all the time. That's like 75% of my music in my playlist. I'm not gonna say what specific playlist
Boys
I
to Men
use,
is
but
great music. I would love to
Of
hear.
course.
I would definitely love to hear them.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other people gonna say nah.
yeah.
And this is exactly what we was talking about.
Where
they don't even want to give him a chance.
Yeah, you let Luther. Well, like you won't say no to Luther or any of the older acts in R&B. So why say no to Boyz II Men? That's insane to me.
Well, you wouldn't say no to Mark Anthony in that aspect. I would compare it to a person that's been around for so many years, you know, but then you have coaches that are going to say, well, we don't care about Mark Anthony. You know what I'm saying? We only like rap music or whatever.
Right.
But,
so care about rap music then.
right. That's the
Right.
best way to say it. Then care about rap music.
For sure.
I got you. Okay, on that note,
Well, I gotta Let's Go Let It Go real
what you
quick.
got?
So Mulan is a Disney movie coming out.
Yeah.
We all know about it. It's a live action, the cartoon. It's gonna be released on Disney Plus on September 4th. All right.
Right. And by the way, the movies are open. In case people don't know, in New York
Right,
City,
right.
movie theaters are finally open.
Yeah, for now. It's on Disney Plus, which you gotta pay for.
Right.
So to watch the movie, you gotta pay $30. Let's go, let it go.
Wait, what?
So you gotta pay $30 on top of
You have to pay $30 on top of
the subscription.
subscription
Yeah. Shout outs to Disney.
of Disney Plus.
Yeah, let's
See,
go.
that
Let
was
it
the whole
go.
point of getting a whole Disney Plus. 'Cause, I mean, hey, shout out to Disney, but there's absolutely no way I'm gonna do that. But I can understand if people are already home, they gotta figure a way to let. See, I'm thinking about it in their point of view. I'm thinking, and I could be wrong, that they're figuring a way to still capitalize on what they projected before the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's like 5 people in the average family, and they're not going to give the maximum amount of money so they could make money to be able to pay the actors.
Let it go, man.
I say let it go.
Yeah, I like Mulan, but I'm done. Couldn't do it.
Well,
I'll wait.
I mean, as a business standpoint of view, I respect it. I get it. But Mulan now, I might, depending on.
Mulan's fire. I want to see it.
I don't know.
Why they doing that to Mulan though? You see how that works? They do it to Mulan.
See, that's why.
And not Frozen or something like that.
But this is what I'm saying. If that's the only reason I could see me supporting the movie for that reason. That's why I'm gonna say let's go. I'm gonna say let's go.
All right.
You know, I want to support, and I want everybody to see how great that movie is. And I feel like they are finally embarking on the right side of history. And I feel like finally these are you know true history stories. And you know I respect that, and I respect Disney for releasing it. Yeah. And on that note, thanks for watching David Talks. Much love. See you guys again. Thanks.